put you in my sights.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Elite POV, where it's podcast time, and you know what that means. I'm your host, Phil Cataldo, but you can call me Philium, alongside the king of talk style.
I'm back, motherfuckers.
He is back in full force. He sent me a fax. I don't even know how he found the fax machine to send to me, and then he sent me a fax, and all it said was, "I'm back."
It was a letterhead.
Anthony
with the
DeStefano,
mask.
what's up?
Anthony DeStefano, king of talk style. I'm back. What a night last night. Everyone's saying it. We're feeling it. Are we in a fever dream?
Yep.
It doesn't feel real. It took me back 20 years. I have never been that excited at the end of a show where I was pacing. I'm living at my parents' house because we're buying our house. And I'm literally secluded in this room because it's 1 a.m. And I am pacing around the room like I'm an inmate because I can't sit down from pure excitement. So I want to talk about it. That's why we're doing the surprise show tonight, to talk about it, because there's no fucking way we're waiting until Thursday.
And in even bigger news than a perfect wrestling show that we saw yesterday, if you guys didn't see what we announced on Twitter, we announced a new third chair permanently. And we have to introduce her the only way possible. And that is the official third chair of Elite POV, the Draw, Jacky Rodriguez.
What's up, guys? Oh my God.
Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the madness. And what's the song we were singing yesterday? Destination still unknown. Jacky, the Draw.
Oh,
Jacky
this is
the Draw.
really exciting. I guess I've earned that nickname in
Draw.
some way, shape, or form. It's going to stick.
Oh, she more than doubled our followers
She
in
tripled
one
them,
day.
let's be fair.
Right?
She tripled them. Oh, by the way, she's doing an awesome giveaway, guys. So go follow her and go follow Elite POV, and you can win that new Bryan shirt. Bryan Danielson. That's going to take a fucking while.
Don't tell me you're going to mess it up more than JR did. JR didn't mess up last night.
Oh, my God. Yes. Okay.
No, he didn't mess up the Daniel Bryan's. Wait, hold on. I messed up.
No, he said
Bryan
Ruby.
Danielson.
He said Ruby Riott.
Well, yeah, I mean, because he clearly doesn't care about the women, but he didn't. I feel like he was holding that paper like this, like Tony's gonna fire me on the spot.
Bryan Danielson.
Excalibur took his mask off and was just looking at him like, "Don't fuck this up."
Oh my God. Well, to clarify, yes, you could purchase the new Bryan Danielson shirt, but the giveaway is for one $25 PWT's card, if case you do want a Bryan Danielson shirt or that really badass Adam Cole All Elite Baby shirt. Oh my God.
Listen, make sure you guys
can't get over
get in on this raffle now, because Pro Wrestling Tees might get shut down again with all the hype that's going out from All Out and with all the new signings and stuff. It might take you 6 years to get your shirt, so make sure you win this card and you put your order in now so you get it 6 years before the rest of us. Yeah.
I ordered my Jade Cargill shirt during a 20% off. I expect it to come when she wins the championship in 6 months.
At this point, I feel like the people at Pro Wrestling Tees are not printing anything that isn't CM Punk, like 9 out of 10 times, and then everybody else after that.
They're like
over 100,000 shirts.
How many more shirts do we have for Punk? 65,000. Okay.
It's just have you seen that documentary, Jacky?
Yes, the PWT's one?
Yeah, they need to hire more people. I know they said they did. They need to hire more people. There's no way this mom and pop shop.
What did the Taco Bell dog you say? I think it needed bigger box.
Yeah, 100%.
I think you need a fucking bigger, like, processing.
Bigger warehouse.
Yeah, manufacturing department.
Yeah.
Because, like, you just broke the internet. AEW. Well, first off, how cool is it that a place like Pro Wrestling Tees, right, who started off as just like an indie show, podcast, they're just doing shirts for people, is now the t-shirt company for the second biggest brand going in professional wrestling that's getting 1 million viewers. It's probably going to break 2 million viewers soon enough, right? It's going to happen.
It's
I mean,
close.
with that talent.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and with the talent and with the hype of this weekend, and for anybody who's watching or listening on podcasts, thank you. But go to ESPN's Twitter. Go to Barstool. Go to
Barstool.
Bleacher Report. Everybody's reporting.
Pat McAfee, who is employed by WWE, was talking about it today.
All the wrestlers were. How many of the female wrestlers were talking about Ruby?
Yep.
Right.
Liv Morgan
we talked
gave
about
her
it.
a little shout out.
Yeah, we were talking before the show. Nikki Bella. Nikki, I don't give a fuck about them. Bella out here posting AEW links.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Fire me?
Yeah, whatever. What are you going to do, right? So it's like, this is a big deal. And before we get into everything, thank you guys for catching us on Twitch if you're watching this live. Of course, right after this. Oh, no, wait. It's not Thursday.
No.
So this is a special show. I got confused. But make sure you go over and follow twitch.tv/GameOfAnt for all your eFed greatness. Okay, that's number one. And number two, let's just jump right into it. I don't want to take any more time.
Nope. You forgot something.
What did I forget?
You forgot. Oh, young Skywalker, you have so much to learn.
I'm just hype. I want
Jackie,
to talk about it.
the floor is yours. Jackie has a special.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, man, Phil, you're killing me. Like just passing
I'm the
right
worst.
up on over it.
Welcome to a show with me. Go.
All right. Well, I just wanted to take a quick moment to shout out everyone for all the love and the warm reception after our announcement that I'm joining the team. I was just like so overwhelmed and overcome with emotion, just how enthusiastic everyone was. So I hope I can do you guys proud. Join us for this journey. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see what happens. And of course, thank you to my co-hosts and Phil for taking this little leap of faith on me. So I'm super stoked and excited.
And we have other news. You're fired. But
all right. Well, let me just
right.
let me get going.
It's kind of like history repeats itself, right? And when G-Rod and I were doing Rant with Ant and Phil made his appearance, we knew right away that third chair had to be filled. We had to add it. He had to be put in the equation. When G-Rod left and there was another chair and Phil and I sat there and say, all right, we're going to do this duo. We said, no, there's a third chair, and that third chair has to be Issa. Mm-hmm. And with this new beginning, when we had you on, and we both then connect with each other and go, hey, I have an idea, and we had the same idea, that third chair had to be you. If not, there would not be a third chair. Mm-hmm. So thank you for sitting and taking a chance on us, and hopefully we do you proud. And thank you guys for listening and taking a chance on us again, as I've never been this excited for pro wrestling. Phil and I did make the decision to take this more serious. As before, we said it was going to be more casual. We want this to be everything that RWA was without the burnout, without the sad ending, right? We want a happy ending like a massage parlor. But that's what we want right now is we want to grow this. We want to have the best community, and we want to be at an AEW media scrum by next year. And I believe with you guys, that's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Let's get it, man.
Agree with everything Ant says. See, the one thing me and Ant are good at is reading vibes and making the right decision very quickly. So you're more than deserving to sit in that third chair. I mean, you saw the draw. The draw over double our numbers in one day. Yeah. In one day. You are the CM Punk to our Tony Khan.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, could not have been done with the amazing community that I've built up on Twitter. Love you all. Yeah, I can't wait to see what happens.
It's going to be a good time. But speaking of a good goddamn time, let's get into this. This is why we're here. Couldn't sleep last night. Been thinking about it all day. We keep saying, like Ant said, are we in a fever dream? If we are, please, for the love of God, do not wake us from this beautiful world that we are living in this world of All Elite Wrestling. And just, so let's start off right here. And Jackie, I'll let you take it first. Overall, because we'll go, moment by moment, match by match. But overall, what did you think of All Out from last night?
I have not, and this is not hyperbole in any sense of the word, I have not seen a more perfect from start to finish show than All Out was. I've been a wrestling fan now since '99, and I cannot even think back to a show where I was like, that was a banger. That was a banger match. That was also a banger match. How are they going to follow that? Oh, they just did. And it was just, despite the fact that it was a longer show, it did not feel like a long show at all. I just wanted more. Like, keep the freaking cameras rolling. Outstanding, without question and without debate. Like I tweeted last night, the best wrestling show I've seen in possibly ever.
You know, a lot of people will talk about WrestleMania 17. You know, more recently, you know, I've said All In. People have said NXT TakeOver New Orleans.
The biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, there are some shows that happened recently that people want to point to, but for me, I just don't think there's any comparison. And I think what puts the show over is, you know, we all fantasy book as wrestling fans, right? I feel like the more of a diehard fan you become, you start to fantasy book these crazy ideas, but they never happen. And up until this point, this last year, right? They've never happened. But AEW is giving us what we want. They gave us Punk, right? If you think back of last year, they gave us Brody, they gave us Matt Hardy, they gave us, you know, the fans were like, hey, we want more of the women. It's not on Dynamite yet, but it's been on Dark and Elevation. They give us what we want. Tonight they gave us Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, and Ruby Riott. Everything that we wanted. They gave us great matches, and just top to bottom, it was so good. The Paul White QT Marshall match, did it happen? I don't know. It kind of did, but it doesn't ruin the rest of the night. It was just perfect. It was just incredible. But Ant, what do you think?
And I started saying this at the beginning of the show, and the only time I can recall having a feeling that I had last night is when we were in the arena for All In, and we were live, and we felt that energy, and we felt that crowd, pretty much the same crowd that was there last night, right? The same energy, the same building, and when I shut my computer finally, and I was pacing, I was like, all right, I got to go to bed. So I got in the shower. It's like 1:45. I get in the shower. And I lay down at 1:55. And I open my MacBook back up. And I'm like, I got to watch this one more time. Yeah. I got to hear that crowd one more time. I was fiending for it. I was craving it. You know, I think WrestleMania 30 was probably the best televised event that I can remember watching and being like, holy fuck, what a night, right? Undertaker loses his streak. Daniel Bryan stands tall at the end, beats Triple H in the beginning, Cena versus Bray. Like, it was a magical night. This surpassed it, right? This surpassed it. The ending was something that I actually called, and I don't want to beat my own horn or toot my own horn, but beep, beep, whatever. I said on Twitter, I responded to someone and said, AEW loves to talk about how they debut Brody and Matt Hardy in the Swerve during the pandemic and how they wished it was live. Last night, they got to do it live with two bigger names. And that's not a shot at Matt Hardy or Brody Lee. Daniel Bryan's one of the most decorated superstars of the last decade. Adam Cole is one of the hottest commodities pro wrestling has seen, the hottest free agent probably ever. He's 32 years old. 30. That is the guy you build your company around. He is 32 years old.
And Adam Cole is the perfect example of what I was just saying of, like, you know, we start seeing people reporting that, you know, his deal is actually up and he just signed this extension to get through the TakeOver weekend for SummerSlam.
Which is class.
Super class, right?
Yes, very much so.
You know, so this was all, like, new to us. Like, oh, you know, but in the back of our jaded wrestling minds, you're like, well, clearly he's not going to pass on the money, right? I'm sure WWE was going to offer him whatever he wanted, right? So it's like, you were like, it's probably not going to happen. And to see him come out yesterday was just unreal. Like you said, the double swerve, it was just, we might as well just start there. Start at the best part of the night, which was, you know, the ending with, you know, Kenny and Christian. Kenny wins. And then, you know, we get Adam Cole coming out and teasing like he's going to attack them. He attacks Jurassic Express. He super kicks Jungle Boy. And then...
Which please let that be the first feud. Please, God,
I would be
if you
so
love me,
okay with that.
Please,
And the
please
presser,
let that be the first.
and you know, we're going to talk about the presser throughout, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's funny how Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Adam Cole, three of the biggest names of the last 15 years of wrestling, and they all say Jungle Boy, Darby Allin, MJF.
MJF, yep.
Those are the three. Those are
Punk
three
has still
grown
not
stars.
said MJF.
But
and
no,
there
I think he said him once in one of the interviews, not in an AEW official.
No, on AEW platforms.
Yeah, no.
never
He's said it
and
in
that
like
is
radio
because
interviews.
It's go Arthur Ashe, MJF, or CM Punk. I'm like almost convinced that might be CM Punk's next challenge.
Well, me and Jacky might burst into dust then. If that
Into
happens.
flames will like spontaneously combust.
In the words of CM Punk, I have a boner. Did you see that?
Exactly. So
yes. I was like, he was possessed by Ant in that moment.
Yeah, 100%. But I know if you guys look at Jackie's Twitter, you can see her reaction of Adam Cole coming out. So, Jacky, explain to us what was going through your head during that moment.
As soon as Kenny hit the, anybody that could challenge me is either, not here, is retired already, or is dead. As soon as the word dead came out of his mouth, I looked over at my brother and I'm like, oh my God, lights go out. Boom, Adam Cole's name was her. I have freaking goosebumps. Like, I have not gotten over this.
That theme, a fucking banger. A banger, that theme. Both themes.
Shout out Mikey Ruckus for constantly pushing out these, like, freaking banger themes.
Can I just tell you that, I don't know, Daniel Bryan's theme's by someone else. But in Daniel Bryan's theme, you couldn't hear it because the crowd was so loud.
It was too loud.
It is the fans cheering, you're going to get your fucking head kicked in the background of his song.
Yeah.
What?
It is ill. They are killing it. But you're right. As soon as he said living, retired, dead, and the lights went black, I went, holy fuck, it's Adam Cole.
It's Adam Cole.
And then I'm thinking in my head, am I right? Or they're going to do both of these people? Because with COVID numbers climbing, do you do the safe bet? Or are we going to get Daniel Bryan and Arthur Ashe and they just let everything fall back into place, right? And they gave us both. But the Adam Cole one was shocking because I really do rely on SRS for a lot of our news because, again, he is probably one of the people that has been very honest and upfront with what he said.
Doesn't miss.
He's pretty accurate, and when he gets something wrong, he not only owns up to it, but he explains why. But he explains, like, hey, listen, from his end. And I think that out of all these dirt sheet reporters and stuff like that, that he's honestly the best one you could follow. So at Sean Ross
you gotta follow Casserole. This guy Casserole from Body Slam, he hit the Bryan thing dead on. Everything. This is when he's going to debut. Nope, they moved it up because of COVID. This is what you can expect at the end of All Out, and he hit every single.
Well, I was seeing reports, and I don't remember who I was seeing it from, but that they moved this stuff up because Hangman asked for time off. Well, that Tony and that this was supposed to be like Hangman's night, as we all kind of predicted a few months ago, right? But because Hangman was gone, and Hangman is a huge deal to this company, right? That those are Tony Khan's own words. That they moved this great moment up to be able to. The only thing that could replace that moment.
That moment's going to live forever in wrestling history. It's bigger than the Outsiders. It's. I don't want to say right now it's bigger than Hogan dropping a leg on Macho Man because the NWO.
According to Punk, it is.
Yeah, but the NWO revolutionized pro wrestling, and we don't get Bullet Club and half of these guys without the NWO. Let's be real.
Yeah, but listen,
the implications from this could be bigger than anything that's ever happened in pro wrestling.
And Jacky, I want to get your take on this.
Sure.
I think that WWE's biggest threat when it comes to AEW is how much fun these wrestlers are having. Right? It's not about the ratings. It's about that backstage atmosphere because we hear all these people sign, and the first thing they say is, "Oh, the backstage this, the backstage that." I think of people like an AJ Styles, a Kevin Owens, a Sami Zayn, people who came up in the Ring of Honor system just like everybody else, the Cesaros, guys like that. And you think of like they're looking over at their friends and being like, they're really happy. At least a high percentage of the time. Like, do you think that, seeing Adam Cole and Ruby Soho and Bryan Danielson smile so big and talk so positively, do you think that's going to have a long-term effect as it comes to recruiting talent?
I mean, it doesn't hurt. I wish I could have remembered who tweeted this, but somebody made an excellent point where they said you have two polarizing figures. Like, you have CM Punk, who left WWE because he absolutely hated his experience there. He was ill from being there, and now here he is in AEW praising AEW for the environment that they're providing. And then you have Daniel Bryan was seemingly satisfied with his WWE run, had nothing bad to say about the company, and yet he still chose AEW as his new home. And they said, and that is possibly the more damning of the two.
Oh yeah,
because it's he had a choice.
Was happy. He was happy.
He was happy and still decided, you know what? This is a good thing here, but this could be a freaking great thing. I'm going to make the jump. So seeing that kind of thing where it's wow, even people who are not disgruntled former employees are,
Adam
making
Cole
the
had
jump.
nothing but great things to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Adam
a great
Cole
point.
had nothing but great things to say, but he did say he knew he was coming for a long time.
Yeah.
The biggest kryptonite to Adam Cole in WWE was he was around Britt Baker, who's his girlfriend, in the AEW locker room at the AEW after parties, and he saw and witnessed the atmosphere firsthand. And that is the biggest kryptonite to WWE, is if somebody like Charlotte Flair hangs out at AEW with Andrade. Guess what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, if you guys saw, Sean Ross Sapp was reporting that there was a lot of WWE names who were, Charlotte was there, Zelina was there. There's a lot of people backstage with their significant others or just there because of friendship or whatever. Listen, this is what I was saying. Who knows what this can cause, right? Hey, maybe it won't revolutionize the business on television the way that the NWO did, but maybe this revolutionizes the business in the locker room.
But the NWO revolutionized the business that way because Kevin Nash was the first one to get a guaranteed contract.
True, but still, I think the fun factor
in the same way, I think the fun factor is huge. You hear it all the time. Oh, we were just playing basketball before we went out there. What?
Yeah.
They're just shooting the ball.
And I saw, I think Jermaine is the one who said it in the chat about the Adam Cole thing. So according to the presser, it was really fast because not only did Adam Cole not know that his contract was coming up, and neither did WWE, but Tony Khan didn't know because of that. So the second they found out, it was pretty much done very quickly. And I know Sean Ross Sapp has reported that the CM Punk contract was signed that day of his debut on Rampage.
30 minutes before he walked out.
So, I mean...
The lawyer texting him, maybe you should sign that contract now. Oh, yeah, let me go do that.
So I'm sure, Sean Ross Sapp will probably get the information, but I'm sure that Adam Cole contract was probably signed yesterday.
Oh, yeah. No, they did say that, they were all signed very close to the event because it was all handshake deals until they showed up.
Yeah. And
which is risky business, but
it paid off.
If Tony Khan doesn't have the biggest balls in pro wrestling, and you're right, Phil. Look at the way he looks at his talent. I want someone to look at me like that.
Go and watch the presser and watch him talk, or watch him listen to CM Punk. Watch him listen to Ruby. Watch him listen to Adam Cole. Just look at the way he looks at them like they're his pride and joy. They're his kids. Oh my God, I'm so
his kids,
happy that they are happy. I do everything in my life to make sure they are happy. That's what Tony Khan looks like. And it's a breath of fresh air as far as promoters for wrestling, right? Because we're so used to it being one way for so long that we're getting to see. It's I always said, it's if we had the money to start a wrestling company and we could sign all the people that we liked. It's very similar to that.
I just love that they did what they did last night, knowing that CM Punk was going to be there. They didn't put Punk on first, which I think at first I was like, that's a smart idea. That would have been a death blow because then you don't get to see Miro versus Eddie. You don't get to see the Moxley stuff.
Yeah.
You don't get to see that amazing tag team match. The tag team match is one of the best matches I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God,
right?
Yeah.
And the people who were the lapsed fans, the casual fans that came back for CM Punk, saw all that, got the CM Punk, saw the Big Show, Paul White, who's someone who's familiar, saw Jericho, who's familiar, and then at the end saw Bryan Danielson. And it's like, well, okay, I'm going to watch this company on Wednesday. They booked it perfectly that the people who watched last night have to tune in Wednesday. You have to tune in Wednesday.
Friends in the chat talking about Suzuki. What a moment, right? And that's the thing.
And that's like overlooked right now. But like Suzuki versus Moxley is happening Wednesday on free TV.
Yep. And then Malachi Black versus Ant's favorite promo, Dustin Rhodes.
Oh boy.
Oh, just wait. You haven't been here when Ant cuts the Dustin Rhodes promo. The type of promos he cut. But I want to jump into the rest of the
whole time.
I want to jump into the rest of the card.
Yeah, we gotta circle back.
Right, yeah, we got to circle back to the Punk.
CM Punk wearing pants. How weird is that?
But
we were a little thrown off, yeah.
You were thrown off, but and I tweeted this and I sent this in the group chats and stuff. I don't know about you, Jacky, but the Logan vibes, right? The Wolverine, old man Logan, Wolverine vibes that CM Punk came off that night was great.
His offense was very Bret Hart last night, and I can say that because my top two favorite wrestlers of all time are Owen Hart and Bret Hart.
Was it you who sent me that link, or did I just see it on Twitter where the whole opening?
You saw it on Twitter where they opened it up like, but
Bret and X-Pac.
Look how he
the 1, 2, 3 kid.
Look how he did the rest holds. Look at his technical ability. Look at his movements was very Bret Hart-esque, easing into like, okay, now I'm CM Punk and now I'm back. Yeah. So I think that was the story. You can say old man Logan because it's perfect. It's like, I'm Logan. I'm old man Logan. But in the middle of it, he said, you know what? I'm still fucking Wolverine though. Yeah. He turned that corner. And that's what Punk did. He was very like, hey, I haven't done this for 7 years, but I'm still CM Punk. And then the best in the world came out right in the middle of that match.
Yeah. See, like I'm a total mark for that kind of stuff. Like I love the technical wrestling aspect. I love the slow and methodical. And I know, like, I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, I wonder if people are going to be receptive to this because it's not the traditional, like, heavy striking or anything like that. Like, there were some moments where it did feel kind of slowed down. But I just thought it was done in such a way that every move had purpose. Punk looked great. Darby gives me a freaking heart attack every single match. That freaking bump through the ropes when he hit the turnbuckle. He was like, Punk yeeted his ass into the crowd. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do with that move, but I don't know if it's just because Darby's such a lightweight guy.
I honestly think that was all Darby.
Aerodynamic.
I think that was all Darby.
Flew.
I think Punk threw him like a normal thing, and Darby was like, I'm going 100%.
Darby
committed.
Darby is one of the quickest people off those ropes I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. Everything he does is so quick. I just want to say, like, all right, so I'm a CM Punk fan. He's the guy that gets me back into wrestling, right? Last night was perfect because I didn't want and I was sour grapes. I was very pissed off when he left and whatever, but I didn't want the last image of one of the greatest wrestlers of all time to be Corporate Kane, not even Monster Kane, Corporate Kane eliminating him at the Royal Rumble, right? Yeah. That would have ate at me as a wrestling fan. Last night, smile on his face, packed house in Chicago against young talent. He looked smooth, and the beginning was slow, but guess what? The guy hasn't wrestled in 7 years. Are you going to get on a bike and you're going to just go? Or are you going to like,
and for people who are saying it's slow. But I don't think it was slow. I don't think it was slow. So this reminds me of an old school Ring of Honor match. Because I remember watching, like when I didn't know what Ring of Honor was. And I was given those DVDs of Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness and CM Punk and Claudio Castagnoli and all these big name Ring of Honor guys. And I remember seeing matches and they take a little bit to go. Same thing with New Japan matches, right? They take a little bit. And it's designed to build and build and build. And just like Ant said, Punk started out working very slow, and then he gets to the point like, oh no, I'm CM Punk. I'm going to fuck you up, right? And I think that's great, especially with someone like Darby, who you see have matches with Sammy, and you see have matches with, Moxley and all these people, and it's like go 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 go, a million moves. We're going a million miles a minute, but like he worked slow with Punk in the beginning.
Yeah,
and it
you know what my
built the crowd up.
favorite thing is there wasn't, and this is going against what I usually like. Like I love false finishes. I love them. I'm a mark for false finishes. I love that Punk and Darby didn't have a shit ton of them. Right, there was more methodical. My favorite spot, coffin drop. Punk just sits up.
Yep. Oh,
just sits up like. You think I'm gonna fucking fall for that?
Yeah.
Like I scouted you, kid. I'm the best in the world, and I think that right there is when he sat up and that look in his face. That's when you're like, all right, he's back. Like
it's the vet. It's
the
veteran doing a veteran maneuver to the young guy, and it doesn't bury him. It doesn't make him look stupid. It allows us to understand that. All right, well. Punk's the veteran, so he's going to make the better decision.
I like that he didn't kick out everything, because then it makes Darby not look as strong, right? If Darby hits 2 coffin drops and Punk keeps kicking out after 7 years, you're going to be like, why? You know,
what the hell?
It goes back to like this is WWE, but this is the example. It's like we're all Roman Reigns fans. Well, me and Phil are, and his match against Rusev, he had a chain in his mouth, in the Accolade, in a Hell in Cell, on top of a step, and he got out. Why? Why?
Yeah, it's like, I mean? What's the point?
So that would have been that kind of like non-logical, like, okay, this guy's been wrestled for 7 years. Now he's kicking out of coffin drops all over the place.
Yeah, over and over.
So I was and it was the perfect comeback match because it left you wanting more. Because you didn't see Punk's full arsenal. You didn't see Punk put on that 5-star classic. But you saw Punk was back, and now we can build to that.
Absolutely.
Yep. As perfect balance. Punk looked great. Darby looked like a total badass. Like he went through the war, and then to like the icing on the top of the cake, Sting coming out at the end, the show of respect.
Which Punk said in the presser was not planned. They did not talk about that before.
Really?
Yeah, he said that that was like a Sting decision. That he was like, I wanted to go out there. And when he got out there and shook Punk's hand, Punk said to him, this means a lot to a guy like me. And Sting was like, this means a lot to a guy like me. And they shared, and he was like, that was a real moment. And Punk also said that's why he loves AEW, because those moments are able to happen here, where it forces people to think on the fly and have a more realistic reaction.
It's just not overproduced.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't have to produce everyone's movements. They're humans. You know what I mean? They're humans. They're, as wrestlers, you're an artist. And the best art is when you give someone a blank canvas, not when you tell them to fill in the lines, right?
Yeah, it's got to be organic.
And it's a balance, right? We've seen stories within the company, right? We always talk about Hangman and Omega and all the little Easter eggs you see through all their different platforms, whether it's BTE or Dynamite or their Twitter, right? So they have stuff like that, but this was like a showcase match, right? This was to showcase Punk coming back, to showcase Darby, and to showcase Sting, to have 3 different eras of wrestling all in the ring together, showing love and respect. It was like a fun match for the fans.
It's the attention to detail that makes me love this company. Eddie Kingston comes out and says, redeem these nuts.
Yeah.
How does he lose? How does he lose?
By getting nailed right in the, right in the nuts.
The nuts. Yep.
The attention to detail, and now, all right, you had to cheat to win. Now I hope, because that the package alone, the 2-week build with promos sold me, right? Now give them another 3 week to get to Arthur Ashe.
And that's the thing, like we said to start the show. That's us fantasy booking, but here it can actually happen.
It's going to happen.
It could happen.
It's going, like, all signs point to that happening, right? You're not just going to, Eddie Kingston's not going to just get kicked in the nuts and say, okay, you were the better man. That's not what you told me about Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm sure that shirt is going to sell a lot. People may get them in 4 years, but I'm sure it's going to sell a lot, right?
By them, I'll have a podcast shirt out that said, redeem these man tits.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my Jesus Christ. Hold up. I want to take 1 second to just, like, throw a shout out. My mom is in the chat right now.
Sorry, Mom. I said tits.
Yeah.
He said, Aunt is
sorry,
wild.
Mom.
He's going to say a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this is a raunchy show. Sorry, Mom.
Listen, my mom is as hood as they come.
Oh, good, and welcome to the madness.
I guarantee you.
Welcome to the madness.
Yeah.
But like, how awesome is that? I love you, Mom.
It's awesome. AEW brings everybody together. You see this big family atmosphere?
That's amazing.
I love Mom. Yeah, my mom could care less. I was at my mom's house like an hour ago. I told her I was doing this. She didn't care.
I'm living at my parents' house.
Your mom won't even walk downstairs.
They don't even give a fuck that I'm down
No, your
here.
dad. Didn't your dad like come downstairs and like shut off the lights?
Yeah, but my dad's supportive, right? My dad actually gave us the money for All In. Gave us wrote a check for us.
Yeah.
And then we just paid him back. But my dad's very supportive. My mom don't give a shit what I do. Yeah. She's like, "You doing drugs?" No. Okay.
Good.
All right, cool.
We're still good. But I mean, let's talk about the Miro and Eddie Kingston match, right? I think that it was a surprise to a lot of us that it was the opener, right? I know, and we talked about
you got to start with fire.
With fire, but you would think that they would build up, right, to these cards. Usually AEW shows they're building up, and I know this had a shorter build, but the fans were really behind this, and they really invested in this match. So it shocked me that it went out first, but did not disappoint, right? We all had our expectations. To me, I don't know about you guys, it exceeded every expectation that I had. Like you said, with the storytelling, with him getting kicked in the nuts, and just it was the first time that Miro looked legitimately scared. And not just Fuego hitting him really fast with a couple of DDTs or whatever. It legitimately was Eddie Kingston might win tonight.
He looked in danger. It's the first time in his career. I know the DDTs from Fuego, that was a great story, but you knew Fuego was going to die. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's the first time we've seen Miro look human, right? And look like, oh my God, Eddie Kingston's going to pull this off. And that's why I yearn for more of this. And I don't need Eddie Kingston to win at hometown New York. I don't need that. But I need Eddie Kingston to show that Miro's human. And I think that's an important part of a storyline because we see how dominant streaks go, right? We've seen it with Goldberg. We've seen it with Asuka. They get played out, and then you just don't give a fuck anymore. And you got to make these people look human. Last night, Miro looked human, but he still found a way to win. And I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Jacky?
I mean, Ant says I don't need Kingston to take the belt in New York.
No, you need
I do. I want to see Kingston take that belt. I want to see him be the TNT champion. As far as I'm concerned, give Eddie Kingston the world. But it was a strong match.
Yeah.
There were some moments when Eddie hit that DDT, and I was like, oh shit, is this gonna be the moment where he goes in and he gets his win? Shout out to who? Oh my God, was it Bryce that was reffing the match? And there was the whole turnbuckle spot where he goes over and and he should have started counting earlier. Eddie looked like he could have had the 3 count, and then
Bryce stood out when because Philadelphia, there's a promotion called Chikara. And that's where I got to see PMP and all that. And they all wrestled at Chikara. And he stood out. And usually you don't pay attention to referees, right? That's a weird thing to pay attention to. But he has such an ability and talent about him. And last night, that timing that you're talking about, that was unbelievable. That he's fixing something. And that takes
as the pin is happening.
Precise timing. For a referee to be that in on it, that's amazing.
And he got such heat from the crowd too. Everybody was chanting you effed up at him.
Yeah.
It was just insane. But it made everything is storytelling.
Yep.
You just censored yourself because Mom's in the chat.
I did censor myself. Yeah, that's a respect thing. Anyway,
I'm Italian. I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, half of me understands that, and the other half knows nothing about it.
Yeah, it's you got Phil, who's the
upstairs. I'm like, Mom, what the fuck is this? What is this shit right here? What the fuck's on the table?
100%.
Meanwhile, Phil has enough Puerto Rican in him to know what I'm talking about.
I know.
But overall, it came in. It was a perfect way to start the pay-per-view. I want to see the rematch. Yeah. I want to see Eddie go over. Oh my God, please.
And maybe this is it, right? We only saw one belt change hands last night. Yep. So, I mean, maybe, AEW...
Which was a shock. That was a shock.
Well, it's because they build the story so well that even if the people retain when you want someone else to win, it's done in a way where you're like, I like where this is going.
Lucha Bros were undefeated, too. So, they were hot coming in.
Yeah. I mean, let's jump right into that match. And,
Yes.
Best match I've seen since Andrade Gargano.
Yeah, it's just like
it's my favorite match I've seen since Andrade Gargano. Really, I've never been. So I literally had to stand up during that match.
Yeah, you were
Same.
texting. That was funny.
I could not
Same.
sit down. I stood up and I'm like, oh my god, and then Phoenix, he floats. How do you float off a 25-foot cage? Floats down like Mary Poppins.
The most agile, like the stuff that he does. It's like just when you think you've seen everything in his arsenal, he'll pull something else out, and it'll always be the most impressive, mind-blowing, take your breath away thing. It's kind of similar to the Darby, like where you kind of think you might witness a death in the match because I'm like, there's no way he can nail this move,
And he does.
But the difference between you got the Darby is like freaking reckless, kind of crazy, but Phoenix is just like
It's so safe.
he's so athletically gifted. Like I have never seen anybody like that moves like Phoenix does.
It's
in
the
ring.
hesitation
thing I've
factor,
ever
right?
seen.
It's it's to me that's what it is. Watching it, Darby and Ray Phoenix have no hesitation to their movements, right? And even like Ricochet, one of the best high flyers in the world, right? Ricochet will climb that rope and go, whew, and then do his move. In that split second, there's hesitation. Ray Phoenix has already done the move twice. By the time you even could realize what's happening, it's done so quick and done so fast. It's like him jumping off. Like, he built towards it, but it happened so fast. Like, you're like, all right, he's going to jump. He's already in the air while your mind's processing already.
The closest thing I've ever seen to Ray Phoenix is Rey Mysterio in WCW.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio during those days was doing things you could not believe people could do.
But Ray
Phoenix
Mysterio versus certain people that can hang with him, though. Ray Phoenix is doing it to everybody and
Ray
going,
Phoenix
fuck
could
it.
do it with anyone, right?
But
Phoenix,
he's
I
like
think-
throwing caution to the wind, right? We hear that a million times in wrestling. But
Yeah.
he's just like, whatever, you catch me, you don't, whatever. And I mean, he gets hurt a lot, which sucks. But
it's legit, and this means a lot coming from me because I'm such a fucking mark. It is my favorite cage match of all time, and I want you to think about a cage match.
I
because
can't
Owen
say that
Hart
because
versus-
Bret Hart and Owen Hart exist, and I don't think listen.
had a match at SummerSlam '94 inside a steel cage, right? And this was my favorite steel cage match of all time. I just first off, I'm a huge Penta and Phoenix fan. They are the only reason I ended up watching Impact, and then I found LAX, and you know what I mean. And then everything kind of happened from there. But seeing Pentagon on Lucha Underground, which really brought me in, like to like him, that guy. I like Penta. And then seeing last night, it's like you're seeing the growth of these performers to the point that like they just put on literally. If that match doesn't get 5 stars, I'm gonna take Meltzer by his Affliction shirt and hang him up on the door. Really, because that match could not be more perfect. The Bucks pulled out all the stops. With
Well,
the
let's talk about the
Nike,
the blood and the ripped lucha mask and just the like. And we've seen. I mean, I was there live when they fought it All Out a few years ago, and they had that ladder match, crazy ladder match,
fantastic,
right? But this was even on an even bigger level, right? You saw the master ripped. You know, like Ant was just saying, the Young Bucks had the sneaker, the Travis Scott Jordan sneakers, I guess, that are worth a lot of money. They put the thumbtacks on it. They just blood everywhere, and it was just like, this is a fucking war. And then of course the Lucha Bros win, and you get that great moment. But it's just like, how can it not be the match of the year?
It was insanity. I know that a match has like tipped over into the next level when I'm literally screaming incoherently at my TV. Like I become the concerned mom fan. And I'm like, oh my God, look at Penta's face. Yeah. Like he's like gushing blood. It's just all the visuals that came with it, where it was like, just the intensity was through. I think I tweeted about it. I was like, they blew the roof off of the freaking arena with this match.
Yeah.
That match had me so high, right? And then I started crying because he has the daddy-daughter moment.
I was just about to ask you that. As a father,
about me, I'm a girl dad. I have 2 girls, and anything that does like that, like I found sentiment in Ant-Man, the movie, which is not one of the best Marvel movies, right? But I found that little piece of the daddy-daughter thing, and I cling on to it, right? So watching that and then the fucking ref, I wanted to punch the ref. I'm like, bro, let him have his moment. Like this.
Well, I think
he's
it was
telling his kids he's okay for one.
I think so. I think it was a health and safety thing. Once his blood was on them, they had to take him to the back to get checked out. I think that's what they were trying to avoid. But like, I was actually waiting to ask you that. Like, as a father, how was that seeing that? Like, I started crying. I don't have kids.
Well, the thing about so this is just me speaking. I never, especially with like everything that's happened in my personal life, I don't like to let my kids see me vulnerable, right? I don't want them to see me crying or upset or hurt or weak, because to them I'm their strength, right? I'm daddy. I'm the strength. So when you're like watching that unfold, I didn't know his kids were in the crowd, or I would have been fucking like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But knowing his mindset as a father, he's like, I gotta let my family know I'm good. Like, I'm okay. Like, this is just a show. Daddy's gonna get showered up and be fine.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's what's going through my head. And I see the ref, I think it was Knox, and I'm like, get the fuck out of the way, bro. Let him have his moment before I fucking fly first class to Chicago and kill you.
Yeah, it looked like it looked like a bit of a timing issue too, because they got Phoenix out like real quick. They were like, "Come on, let's go, let's see whatever." So it could have been that. Also,
well, that's because AEW
yeah,
is fantastic at hitting their marks. So like it, and we see watching Dynamite every week, and now Rampage, that they book to the second. So like, I'm sure that pay-per-view was booked a specific way for a specific reason. So if something took a minute over.
That, I call an audible and I go, okay, Big Show, knock out QT a minute sooner.
Well, I mean, that was your match of the night.
You would have been down for that anyway, though.
We all would have been down for that.
That match didn't need to happen, but
the bathroom
it fit in perfect.
And no disrespect to Paul White, right? It was really cool to see him back, to see him happy. You know, QT, he gets a lot of shit, but QT is really good in the ring. And, you know, the factory angle, like, I think it's really fun. But it was the bathroom match. I'm sorry. You need something to give people a chance to breathe because of what's about to come.
This is me with the close ties to the factory, right? As you know, like I support the factory. They should be dominant on a show like Dark or Elevation. As this roster grows,
and QT should be more of their manager.
They should be, exactly. They should be like Nick Camarado, is the man beast. He's huge, right? He should be racking up wins, and they should be dominating, and then they should come up, because right now I don't believe that any of them are on any kind of level with what we're seeing.
Here's the issue,
from the top to the bottom.
And Jacky, tell me if you agree with me with this, but
sure,
I think Anthony Ogogo getting hurt fucked everything up, because I think that this would have probably been Anthony Ogogo.
I think his match was a dud anyway, though.
No, but he's good. His match was good. The match at Double or Nothing was good, but it was we didn't want to cheer for Cody. I was there.
You can't tell me this dude can knock people out in real life and then have Cody take 20 punches.
Well, he has the control over the booking of the match, but I thought he did actually really well in the match.
I don't know. It was a Cody match. And
well, yeah, it happens.
Cody's matches work with people.
But this is the one moment that I wish people would talk about more.
Cody can't take a new guy up to his level, right? And I like Cody Rhodes. He can't take someone like a Go-Go up to his level. But if someone's at his level, he can elevate them. Yeah. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's an accurate, that's an accurate.
Well, one thing I want to make sure I mention is Nick Camarado took a Big Show punch and didn't fall. And I think this is something that, even thinking about now, remembering while we're talking about this, that's a huge deal, right? And people should be talking about it more. And I'm sure they'll mention it on Elevation and Dark, and maybe we'll build up to something with Paul White and Camarado on a Dynamite or Rampage or something. But I don't know. I don't think the match is as bad as everybody thinks it is. I just think
it wasn't bad.
We wanted the main event because we kind of knew what was going to happen. But like, people need to go to the bathroom. Right?
I need to run down, get a soda, take a piss, and then get back into the room.
Yeah, Ann has to go eat a cheesesteak.
It served its purpose. The cheesesteak. It served its purpose on the card. It was the cool down match. Everybody knew it was going to be the cool down.
And it wasn't the women.
Whatever.
It was not the women.
Nope.
Where do we see that? Where the women are not the cool down match. Where the women aren't the, all right. And I give them a lot of shit because the women always come on at 9:30.
9:30.
Right? Which is annoying towards the end of the show. But tonight it wasn't, right? We got Britt and Chris Statlander.
The Britt match was great, and
it was so good.
I wasn't very educated on Statlander because she's been injured for so long, and that was kind of when I was going through my fuck wrestling phase, right? And then as soon as I saw her, I'm like, wow, she does have some star power. Like,
she came back completely different. She came back in incredible shape. She's using more power-based moves. Like, she came back a different performer.
But Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker at Full Gear, hopefully that's what we build to, is going to be
I don't think it's going to be that long. I think it's Ruby versus her at either the Newark show or the Arthur Ashe show.
I keep forgetting about Arthur Ashe and 20,000 people in attendance. Yeah. That's probably that's going to be a
or the Newark show. Free. The Newark show is a big deal. I mean, you have tickets for that, right, Jackie?
I do. It's I think it's supposed to be the third highest attended AEW show so far, like by tickets sold.
But for people who don't know, we had these tickets for there was last March of 2020.
Yep.
Was when this show was supposed to happen, and that's where we were gonna get blood and guts. So and Tony Khan is really good at like rewarding the fans when he feels like they might have had been disappointed, right? So we were supposed to get blood and guts. Yeah. So who knows what we're gonna get on that Newark show, and it might be Ruby Soho versus Britt main eventing. I think Thunder Rosa and Britt are eventually gonna happen, but I don't think that's gonna happen until Britt probably loses the title. So I think Thunder's gonna win.
And I think the way that they cut out the the final moments of the Battle Royal match, my brother had pointed this out. Thunder Rosa's reaction as she's kind of going back up the ramp, and you could see her, she's like, that was supposed to be me, like that was supposed to be, and she seems like so like just infuriated at the situation, and I'm like, they kept honing in on her, and I'm like, she's not done. This is not like her going away. I think she posted on
Twitter, like, I'm sorry, I let you down, stuff like that. Like, I think you're 100% right, and like, always saying
I actually
AEW
hate
is good.
that they were the final two. I liked it because the fans.
Who would you have wanted to be the final two?
I think.
And don't say Jade.
Don't say Jade.
No. I wanted Jade to win, and no, it should have been a heel. It should have been a heel, so Ruby would have had 100% of the support. I love the 50-50. Let's go Ruby. Let's go or Thunder Rosa. Like I love that, right? But like, I don't want, and this is just historic booking in my head. I don't want to see the two faces go against each other.
AEW's more blurred lines because you look at someone like a Britt Baker.
Penelope, the bunny should have like helped Penelope pull Thunder Rosa out, and then
but Penelope like and the bunny are in a feud with Ty Conti and Anna Jay. And before we keep going on with all this, a lot of people give AEW shit for not putting the women on Dynamite. There were so many feuds in this Battle Royal. And after this, I want to get back to the Britt and Chris Statlander match because that match deserves a lot of attention.
That deserves more, yeah.
Yeah, but
listen, we can go a little bit over an hour. Like,
but the Battle Royal,
fucking biggest night in pro wrestling history.
We're going to have to.
Yeah. So the Battle Royal though, there were moments where there was Diamante and Swole, Nyla and Diamante and Swole, or now Jade and Nyla, and Ty Conti and Anna Jay and Bunny and Penelope. There were a million different feuds that if you watch Dark, you are rewarded because you get to see that play out right in front of your eyes. Red Velvet and Jade, right? We got to see that back again for what it was, and it's just they do so much great work with the women that it was showcased last night. Now, as far as the ending, I love that it was those two because where Britt Baker's not really a heel and she's not really a babyface, she's just over everywhere she goes. And if you like her, you cheer for her, and if she's gonna do something bad, you'll boo her in that specific moment. But with Thunder Rosa and Ruby, it's just like these are the two best women in this match. Yeah. So let's fight it out. Winner gets Britt.
I'm a Jamie Hayter stan too, so I would have liked
She did great. She did great. And how great was it seeing Rebel in that match? Rebel's not the best wrestler, but I mean she had a pretty bad injury.
So
she, it was good to see her.
Dislocated kneecap.
Yeah, dude, it was rough, right? But no, I definitely want to get back.
I want to talk about how mainstream AEW is becoming because I'm not the biggest fan of this guy, but his following's huge. Travis Scott put Matt Jackson with the thumbtack Nikes on his story.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They're getting pressed, man.
It's ESPN.
Cool.
It goes back.
Cool.
ESPN, Barstool.
Yeah.
Now you have Travis Scott and like hip hop artists. It's only gonna.
It's cool, man. It's just cool, but I definitely want to. I want to go back to the Britt and Statlander match. So, Jackie, what was your take on that match?
Well, for starters, Chris Statlander has to be one of the most powerful women on the roster. Some of the deadlifts that she was doing, yes, so strong.
She doesn't look
so
like she's strong, right?
like-
She doesn't look as strong as Jade, but she is extremely strong.
But she's just like, she's a powerhouse. I love Chris Statlander. A little
Me too.
side note. The first time I ever saw her was back in February 2019 at a random indie show, and didn't know who she was, but she stood out completely, like as somebody that was very memorable. So when she finally showed up in AEW, I was like, oh, I remember her. She's the alien chick, like you know. So she got sidelined from injury. It sucked, but she came back, and she came back stronger and better than ever. I freaking love both of them. Britt is so damn over. It's incredible to see. You know, a female star that is just like anything she says, anything she does, the crowd is with it. I think both of them came off incredibly like strong, powerful. It's like everything I could have wanted in a women's match, and I just fingers crossed and hopeful that this is something that they continue to do because the booking, everything about that match was stellar.
That Britt is that match is a testament to Britt's character work. Because I will never sit here and say Britt Baker is the best female wrestler, because I still think she has a far way to go. But she's definitely the best female character, one of the best characters, one of the most over characters, where you have to watch everything she does. She hit the what did they call it? The Pittsburgh Sunrise last night.
Yeah, hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like you're seeing these elements come out where the more she's in the ring, the better she's getting. I'm not going to sit here and say she's Charlotte Flair or Bayley yet, right?
But she's
got a long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
But character-wise, she is on another level than anybody else. And guess what? A lot of times, a good character is more captivating than a good match.
And I will say this, and I tweeted this out during the match. There's one thing that Britt Baker is the best at in all of wrestling, including the men. No one finds the camera like her. Nobody.
100%.
Her camera work is the best in all of wrestling. Every time she finds it's like the perfect shot every time. How many t-shirts are going to be made of her face close up because she finds it perfectly every time?
It's Austin-esque. Stone Cold used to be one of the only people who had face pictures on his shirt because he would find that he knew how to play, because you're not just playing to the 20,000 people, you're playing for 1 million people at home. And
this is true.
Like even last night, like she like slammed and she did the like strut. She looked right in the camera when she did her pose, and you're like, how like are you like you? She like must have saw it when she was falling, because she popped up and was right there, and that's unbelievable.
It's unreal. It really is unreal to me. And you know, funny, Jacky. So when I first saw Statlander, it was on AEW, and I remember thinking, "What the fuck is this? Like, what is this?" And like, she's good, but why is she an alien? It makes no sense. But since she's since she left, and we got a chance to miss her, right? And then she comes back, in incredible shape, right? Showing more of her strength off, being with the best friends. She's one of my favorite characters on the show, for being completely honest. I love every time she's in here. And Chris Statlander, another reason why you should be watching Dark and Elevation, because this winning streak started on Dark and Elevation, building up little by little. Her pulling out, what's her she has a 450 splash, the area 450 splash, she calls it. Like, come on.
So smooth. Like she pulled that out and it was great.
So a gimmick like that, right, where it's like, she's an alien, right? AEW executes it. While I don't want to shit on the other company, but they'd be like, bring her down in a spaceship, damn it. Like, it would be, like, all in on that. Like, Luchasaurus would literally, like, have, like a Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Like, you'd have to wrestle like this. Like, but what they do is they let them have these weird, crazy gimmicks, but people buy into them because... It's just more. It's weird, but it's believable because they don't go all the way in.
It's like
she's weird. She thinks she's an alien, but she's pretty fucking awesome.
Well, it's like she's quirky.
WWE would have had her like surrounded by the people in Toy Story, the little
green men.
Yeah, like she would come out with them. Like it's just even like their wrestle funny. It hits better, right? Like I'm not the biggest Orange Cassidy guy. Right?
Oh wait,
I've said it
before you bury him. You better be praising him,
is.
because I got Carrie right now texting me. All right, shout out to Carrie. All right, she's texting me saying we need to talk about how Orange Cassidy showed that emotion and that passion to get Statlander back in the ring.
And we were watching it in the chat, and I think actually Triangle is in chat. What's up, man? He's like, why is he emotional now? And I said, that's great, because that little piece of it can help his and all. You want to see characters grow. We've never seen Orange Cassidy be emotional. Now the emotion starts playing. Now there's more connection. Now maybe I will see him at an elevated, level than what I think he's at. I like Orange Cassidy. I just don't think he's on that level. But if you add emotion, maybe I buy in.
Yo, we're gonna
pull it out when the moment is right.
We're gonna get you, Ant-Man. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. It's my goal to make you an Orange Cassidy fan like the rest of us. He's just so cool. He's so cool.
He is. I will say this. He is excellent, because the stuff he can do and make it look lackadaisical and like have his hands in his pocket, and that takes a lot of skill.
Yeah.
A lot of skill. So I've never said that I don't like him, right? I said that I don't see him as a main event player. Now, sorry, I don't see him as a main event player, because you just added 3 headlining names, right? And then if you add a Bray Wyatt or a Wyndham, whatever he's going to go by, that's just going to push people further down. But the thing is, you can say they're pushing people further down, but who did Adam Cole kick last night?
Jungle Boy.
Who did CM Punk fight last night?
Darby
Allin.
Who did Miro go against?
Eddie Kingston. These are all AEW guys.
All AEW guys. So there's your little counter argument to, well, they're just going to bring in a bunch of old WWE guys. They're still putting young talent over. Because if Adam Cole's first match at Arthur Ashe is Jungle Boy, watch how quickly the show gets stolen.
Most definitely.
Agreed.
So, I mean, we're talking about the younger talent. What are your guys' thoughts on MJF versus Jericho? I'll start with you, Ant.
I personally think that they made the right call. I liked the way they did it. It was kind of like a Dusty kind of finish where, he gets his foot on the rope at the last second. It's for his career. It's in his grasp. He's about to lose it. He finds the will. That gets in MJF's head. He then loses. I love that they didn't write Jericho off just to bring him back, because I think one of the lost arts of pro wrestling is sticking to a stipulation. We see that Cody Rhodes hasn't challenged for a title, the world title, because he had that stipulation in one of the first pay-per-views. And I like to think stipulations mean something. So if Jericho would have lost, well, we go wrestle in Impact in New Japan, and that's his way out of the AEW thing, right? But we need Chris Jericho on TV, because that's not how his career should end right now, because he still has another 1.5 years on that contract, right? So realistically, it's not going to end. But I'm glad that they said, okay, MJF still looks strong. He still looked like an asshole. The MJF entrance was the perfect troll. Like
so
you knew exactly who MJF was and the mind games he will play to try to beat you. And I think they captured it. They put him over. He looked great in the match. He looked like an asshole. He looked like the top heel. Jericho, the veteran, found a way to keep his career. That story's over. Now what's next for MJF? It didn't look like Jericho was above him, right? And I think that's why it's important, because now MJF plays that into it. That's the 3rd time I've been beaten, and all 3 times have been bullshit. Moxley used a bad move. One was a tag team. Jericho cheated. I'm still undefeated.
Yeah.
You can play it into his character.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Perfectly done. Perfectly executed. The match. Jericho, it's the best I've seen Chris Jericho look since his match with Kenny Omega in New Japan. It's the best. He looked like he was fighting with a purpose last night. They work a slower style. It's hard because they came up like a couple matches after that crazy tag team match, and a different style. Maybe it was after. Was it right after, or was it the battle?
No, the battle royale was after the tag match.
So but it's like they worked such a different style, a more methodical, more storytelling style.
What do you guys think of the entrance? Jericho's entrance. A lot of people are talking about it on Twitter. That it was kind of a disaster.
I have so many opinions on this now.
The guitar player definitely missed a part, and then the whole crowd got thrown off.
Yeah.
Okay, my brother, who might still be in the chat, is a guitarist, and he was there with me, and he's like, somebody get that guy a click track because he's so off the beat that he's like in 3 different tempos, so the crowd can't follow. It was sloppy and awkward. There was a part, like you said, Ant, where it sounded like a little chunk of the song got cut out. And I was like,
well, it was
like,
embraced by the darkness. He cut that off. It was just like, what have I become? It's like, you are in the band. You're in the band.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I was just going to say that. I'm like, dude, it's your song. How the hell did you mess up
Come
your
see
song?
Fozzy at your local show. This is the shit you're going to get.
Bro,
you're going to get COVID, and you're going to get a shitty show.
Like,
Yo,
you are the guitarist. You wrote that riff. You wrote the riff.
Yes.
How do you forget that?
It was to the point where I didn't even realize at first like who it was. And I'm thinking it's just some guy that they got, like whatever, and like he's having, and I'm like, oh shit, wait a minute, no, that's his actual guitar player. I'm like, how? It was a miss. It was such a miss.
I see that in the chat. You thought he was doing something different. You can't do something different when you've literally brainwashed fans to sing Jericho's whole theme song.
Yeah,
you can't say, "Hey, Audible, we're cutting out the bridge." Like it doesn't work like that.
With no
then
backing
the crowd
track.
is trying to catch up. It was just, oh god, it was so bad. I was like in pain.
I saw what they were trying to
do.
Like when he first came out and he was on, I was like, "Oh, this is dope!" Like a cappella crowd with a little bit of a guitar. And then I was like, oh, fuck, like this dude it just jumped real quick. And then the crowd's still behind. And I'm thinking like, do these people not hear the guitar? Because you could change the words real quick and catch up. They're not catching up. It was a shit show.
The crowd, the crowd was more on beat
AEW.
than he was.
Yeah,
If you watched AEW's, like there's Janela doing fucking karaoke. That's what it felt. It felt like a karaoke show. It felt like Dollar Wing Night at the Windrift, and I'm sitting there, and there's some local band who fucking can't keep a beat covering a song. That dude wrote the song. He wrote it. He wrote the song.
Yeah. So Captain Quinn, Marco Stunt could have done the solo, but what we're saying is this is the guitarist from the band. And they had a show like 3 days earlier. Like, come on, bro. You're not rusty. You've been performing.
To be fair, they're used to playing in front of 600 people. There was 20,000 people there.
Oh, my God.
Like I said,
no.
go to a Fozzy show. You're guaranteed 2 things. That performance and COVID.
Yeah, you're going to get COVID. You're going to see a horrible guitar play.
Hold on. Anyway, aside from all that clusterfuck of
can we circle back to the Ayatollah of Corona?
Yes, we'll circle back. And I will say, I have to give MJF his flowers on that match because he portrayed every bit of the low-life douchebag that he's supposed to be. I think I walked over to the kitchen, and this is going to sound so horrible, and had to clean some stuff up in the first, few minutes of the match. But coming back in, I was like, I did not expect to enjoy this match as much as I did. But just all the back and forth, the false finish with, Jericho's foot being on the ropes and Aubrey
the restarting of the match.
The restarting of the match, which my brother and I literally quoted the whole, oh my God, the Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels Iron Man match. Where they're like, this match has been ordered to continue. Like we did the whole thing. It was
my favorite match.
I loved that swerve. Mine too.
I didn't even think about that. That makes me like the match more now. God damn it, Jacky. Now I'm gonna fucking. Now I have to be big on that match.
No choice.
Damn.
No,
Let's just give Bret Hart his flowers because I think everything in AEW is influenced by Bret Hart.
Yeah. Are you do you like technical wrestling? You're gonna wear a Bret Hart shirt. You're FTR talking about Bret Hart. You're gonna do a whole Bret Hart opening sequence. Like, come
FTR
on.
literally knocked somebody out for Bret Hart at his Hall of Fame induction. So
that was the day that I fell in love with Cash Wheeler. I'm just gonna shout that out right now. I saw him
was he the one who threw the punch,
that guy,
or was it Dax?
He was.
Cash?
No, it was Cash. Yes.
Jermaine, I thought someone would throw an ice cream bar at MJF too, until I realized the CM Punk ice cream bars were $16 a piece.
Forget that. No one's throwing that wrapper. Because they're going for like $1,000 on eBay. So let's back
insanity
a little bit, all right?
No, but no, really, that match was really good. I kind of like from the beginning thought that Jericho would probably win as soon as they announced the stipulation.
Yeah.
Like I said, they kind of played it where you were like, not sure. But they did it so well. And yeah.
There is a question that I want to ask. So, would you rather spend $16 on a CM Punk ice cream bar or on a Fozzy concert ticket and go?
Would you rather spend $16 on an ice cream bar or a free Fozzy concert ticket? I'm spending the $16.
Give me the $16.
Unless it's a meet and greet where I
For
can see
people,
Jericho.
you're complaining about $16 for an ice cream bar. You must have never been to Yankee Stadium because walking in, you've already spent $300.
Like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
You want popcorn? $38. What the fuck's in this stuff?
Yeah. Yankee Stadium.
What is on this?
So one thing I definitely want to make sure we cover is Moxley versus Kojima.
Kojima's awesome.
Dude.
Fire.
And I don't know that much about him, but
that man's 52 years old, right?
Yeah. 100%.
What?
Beating the shit out of people.
Yo, Mox is having the time of he don't give a fuck about titles. He carried that brand through COVID, and then like this is Tony Khan like rewarding you. Like, who do you want to beat the shit out of?
Yeah.
You want to go to GCW? Let's talk about the night before. He wins the GCW championship. Now he's going to fight Nick Gage in Atlantic City.
He comes out with a GCW fucking hoodie.
With a GCW hoodie.
Yeah.
The forbidden door is not open. That shit's kicked the fuck down.
There is no door anymore.
There's no door. People are just walking in. And then we get, of course, after the match, we get Suzuki coming out, which for anybody who watches New Japan,
the crowd singing his song just shows you that it was 100% wrestling fans there.
And that's the beauty of AEW, yet again, to bring it back. There is such a great mixture of fans that those hardcore, diehard fans, there's enough for them there, like you said, to sing that song.
Yep. It's crazy. Listen, last night was they didn't miss, like AEW didn't miss, and that made it can't miss. Like, they didn't miss any shots last night. Last night was literally, I've seen people, we did a Twitter poll, I've seen people say 90% perfect.
Yeah, let's bring up that poll.
90% perfect. So a lot of people, I've seen Sean Ross Sapp tweet, I've seen other people, that it's the best pay-per-view they've ever witnessed.
So we
and
have
from top to bottom, I think it was
42 votes, 4 hours left still, but 42 votes as we are recording this. 76% think perfect, 19 think A, and 5% are drunk and didn't watch the same show we did because they said B. Sorry, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys watch that show.
Most people have questionable judgment.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
What do you grade? What curve are you grading on? Like, what did? I mean, all right, we'll give you Paul White and QT, but you should have been up getting a beverage or a snack. That's your fault that you stayed during that. We all got up, walked around, did what we had to do, right?
We should have asked people that if they did vote B, that they have to get in the comments and justify. Like, I want a full 5-paragraph essay of what the hell you saw that was better than this.
And CC Jackie's mom. Bad. Jackie's mom will go through them. She'll give it back to us.
I legit felt so bad for Paul White though, because my man had hip surgery and you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell. And that to me, it's like you're watching this guy. Like, I remember when Paul White was like 26 years old, right? It's like fucking phenomenal, could move, and I mean, he looked great. Like, he looked like he was conditioned, right? But that hurt me watching him walk to the ring. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, fuck, like this is definitely the end of a great career, right? Like, this is kind of like the culmination of everything, and it has to end with someone who's that tall, right? Tall Paul.
Yeah, tall Paul.
Someone who's that tall, though, like when you start getting those surgeries, your life's altered, right? Because you're a big man. And we saw him in person. He's a fucking big dude.
Yeah,
he was huge.
We thought he was standing and he was sitting.
Yeah.
Then when he got up, it was like, wow.
Oh, that's what it looks like.
Phil was meeting Cody, and we're sitting there. I'm like, look how big this motherfucker is.
Yeah.
Huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as we wind down, any final thoughts for the show? I'll start with you, Jackie, first.
What a time to be a pro wrestling fan. I have not been this excited about wrestling in general since I was a small kid. Um, the roller coaster of emotions that I went through in the duration of this pay-per-view, it was worth every penny of the $50 that I spent to watch it. I just cannot say enough about what AEW is doing in terms of reigniting people's passion for pro wrestling. It's just everything makes you like just like chomping at the bit to see what's gonna come next. I'm already like, is it Wednesday yet? Because I want to get to Dynamite and I want to see, even with being the Elite being I think an hour behind schedule to be posted, I was like, please give me the episode. Like,
Yeah,
they're
for
just
everybody
putting
who's
out-
listening, tweet Brandon Cutler, thank you. Because there's no way that man
Yes.
slept last night to get all that footage in
He
on time.
was editing like, you know, till like, you know, burning the candle, both ends, side ends, whatever.
Yeah,
So
whatever
shout
he had
out
to
to
do.
Brandon Cutler. But just, I was, like I said, I was so mind blown from start to finish, never quit, just excellent. It could have gone on for another hour. I would have been totally fine with that. Freaking AEW is making waves in a big way, and I feel like this is just the beginning. It's gonna get good. Cannot wait for our live shows, Newark, Queens, Philly. Let's freaking go. So yeah, perfect pay-per-view.
And Black Echo in the chat saying, this show made me think back to my childhood. It made me fall back in love with pro wrestling all over again. A lot of people are saying that on Twitter. And before we get to Ant's comments, for me, as someone who, me and Ant have been ground floor, beyond ground floor, right? We were there for the foundation. We were there for All In, right? To, over these last almost 3 years, see people slowly come to this company, to then finally get a night like this, where we get all these debuts, you're getting national media attention. You know, ESPN has a deal with WWE, like, and they're talking about AEW, and
They're talking about it.
a lot of people, everyone's talking about it. Wrestling is slowly but surely becoming really cool again. And brought it up earlier, Travis Scott's posting it a lot. It's not the thing of like, you like wrestling. It's almost like, oh yeah, I heard what happened. That was crazy, right? And
Yep.
It's beautiful to see people slowly starting to realize that, hey, AEW might be a place for you if you absolutely love pro wrestling in all of its forms.
Yep.
My final thoughts are, it was the perfect wrestling show. It was everything we've been clamoring for, everything we've been tweeting about, everything we've been upset about has changed, right? Chris Jericho said it best, the game has changed. And the game's totally different now. We got Punk back, right? We got Punk back. Now we get Bryan Danielson, and we get Adam Cole with the Elite and the Bullet Club, or whatever you want to call them, right? And everything feels right in pro wrestling. And the best part is we get to do it again on Wednesday, and then we get to do it again on Friday.
Yep.
And we get to do this again on Thursday. So
Yep.
to quote CM Punk, if you like what you see, tweet about it, share it on Twitter, tell your family, tell your friends, and if you don't, well then shut the fuck up.
Really can't end the show no better than that. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Elite POV. If you are watching live in the chat and you haven't done so already, make sure you drop that follow. Let's get us to affiliate status so we can do some really cool things for you guys. Follow us individually. I am at Big Sith Energy. Jacky, where are you?
I am at Love You Make 24.
And Ant is at Game of Ant. Everywhere he is.
I'm at Clapping Cheeks 25. I'm at
Jade's DMs.
I'm at
Jade Cargill Stan.
Yeah.
I'm at Jade
99.
Cargill Step on Me. .com.
Please abuse me. I am at Game of Ant, and you got to do it. You got to do it. This is going to be the new sign off, right? You have to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do it. Do you know what we're talking about?
No, I don't.
You mean your all elite or your elite POV podcast? POV.
I
yep.
did that?
Gotta hit.
Well, we have to do it.
We
That's our
have
new
to do it.
sign-off.
It's our thing.
Like DMD. Like, thank you
I
for
didn't say-
joining Elite POV. Bam. That's how you should end the show.
That's how we're ending it right
You're
there.
ending.
That's how we're ending it. Well, thank you
No,
guys
so
for
you-
listening. We'll catch you
That's
guys
not
on
dead. You just
Thursday.
thanked them.
But listen.
You reset it. Reset it. Now you have to do it.
Wait, all right, I'll do it. Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. We have a great Dynamite lined up for this week. Watch BTE as they're laughing at me. Watch BTE. Watch Elevation. I think there's some dark matches left. Who knows? They recorded for like 4 days straight, so I'm sure there's matches forever. Shout out to Captain Quinn in the chat. Butcher came back. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. There's a lot to look forward to. Buy the merch. Go with Jacky's contest. Get in before you'll never get a shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees ever again. Make sure you get your gift card. Thank you guys for listening to Elite POV. Bye.